Great news for fans of big entertainment in the parks. More parades, more fireworks, all confirmed by Disney. We've even got dates. And we can put this one in the category of things that I was wrong about for the 2024 season. We will be seeing Wondrous Journeys again. We will be seeing Magic Happens again. We'll even be seeing Mickey's Mix Magic. Disney's official Christmas season ends on January 7th. That's the last day of the holidays. And while they're taking down the lights at Small World and getting ready to update the Haunted Mansion and its new queue, they're wasting no time at all in keeping the nighttime spectacular events going. Starting on January 8th, the day after the last showing of Believe in Holiday Magic, January 8th, the next day, we're getting our first show, the return of Mickey's Mix Magic. This show is perhaps, in my opinion, the best example of trying to turn a traditional fireworks show into a mix of basic pyro and projections on the castle and along Main Street. And by that I mean, the show is mostly about the music and the projections. They're the star. The fireworks, that's actually the accent. And I say best because I feel like Mickey's Mix Magic is a reasonable alternative to traditional fireworks. I know I'm probably in the minority, but I kind of like that show. It'll run from January 8th through March 21st, and then it's going to come back again on April 15th and run until April 25th. I kind of thought we would be seeing the return of Mickey's Mix Magic, but I thought that was going to be the upper limit of what we should expect in 2024 in terms of, big events, big nighttime spectaculars. That would be the most we should expect outside of whatever shows they might do for after dark events or the usual seasonal spectaculars that we, for Halloween and for Christmas. Which actually, now that I think about it, it isn't too far off, but we are getting more in 2024 than just Mickey's Mix Magic. And that's because on March 22nd, the day after its final showing of its original showing on March 21st, on the next day, on March 22nd, we're going to see the return of Wondrous Journeys. This is a wonderful fireworks show. I very much enjoyed it, and I was positive that this show would not return to the parks once its run ended in August. But it will be back, and it's a pretty good indicator that Disney is at least interested in providing value to guests in 2024, where I thought they might be looking to save some money, looking to cut back and take a loss, take the hit in 24 in the hopes that they might rebound in 25. It's possible that the rebound is already happening. Look for Wondrous Journeys on March 22nd, and it'll run for about 4 weeks with its last show on April 14th. And then on the next day, April 15th, we'll see the return again of Mickey's Mix Magic for about a 10-day run, right up until the beginning of the Pixar Fest. And Pixar Fest means Together Forever. That's the Pixar-themed fireworks show that's going to begin on April 26th. I love it. I love the fact that, let's not overlook that they are going to go ahead and fill in that gap, that 10-day gap. They could have just not done anything for that 10-day stretch between Mix Magic, Wondrous Journeys, and then Together Forever. They could have just left that gap open, but they're going to fill that gap for 10 days because of Season of the Force. This answers that question. Mix Magic returning for those 10 days, and then Wondrous Journeys also in that mix. It answers that question we had about Season of Force. You recall, in that announcement, Disney promised that they're going to do something special for those who like to watch fireworks from Galaxy's Edge. It's beautiful. Watching Galaxy's Edge fireworks, or I should say fireworks from Galaxy's Edge, is quite delightful. They project very nicely over the skyline of the mountains, of the spires, but you don't get any sound. There's no sound, no music, no anything. It's just a quiet display of fireworks. Still lovely. They're adding Star Wars music to that this year for Season of the Force. However, that event runs longer. It's starting earlier than Pixar Fest does. So there was a stretch of days I was concerned, what are they going to do about fireworks? This answers that question. We are going to get fireworks pretty much every day, I think for exception of maybe 2 weeks for the entire calendar year of 2024. That's great news. As for Pixar Fest and Together Forever, that's going to run from April 26th through August 4th, and then that's that 2-week stretch that I just talked about. That's when things will go dark for that stretch while they prepare for the Halloween season, which is going to start on August 23rd. We mentioned that in a previous video. The Halloween season starts on August 23rd, so too does its fireworks show. So the only 2 weeks that we're going to have without any kind of nighttime spectacular is that 2-week stretch between Pixar Fest and the Halloween season. It's great. So where I thought they would be cutting back on these kind of events in 2024, we're getting a very limited schedule. We're actually getting more than we got in 23 and more certainly than we got in 22. We're getting a fair amount. It's pretty great. And by the way, don't forget, Fantasmic is coming back starting May 24th. So, and hopefully that returns to its 2 shows nightly format as before. I was giddy with the thought. I felt like it was my birthday. I'm like, wait, we're gonna go back to having 2 shows of Fantasmic every night plus a fireworks show every night. It's like the old times. So let's keep the good news rolling. There's another show coming back that I thought might be dead. A reasonable chance that we might not see it again. Magic Happens. Great news here as well. Just a few weeks after the Christmas Fantasy Parade ends its run and the holiday season, we're going to see the return of Magic Happens starting February 2nd. And there is no end date given on this announcement from Disney, which suggests that there isn't an end date. That means this is going to go on indefinitely. This is a permanent return of Magic Happens, which in my opinion is the only acceptable outcome. You got to have a daytime parade. Disney is just better. Disneyland is better, and the guest value is better with a daytime parade. I mean, the only thing that would be better is the return of Paint the Night. Am I right? I mean, we're crossing our fingers still. Those floats are still exist. Those floats are still in town. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed for that for Paint the Night. But for now, I'm pretty happy that we're going to get a full complement of entertainment in the parks in 2024. Lots of fireworks, daytime parades, Fantasmic. It's all happening. Great news. Speaking of 2024, let's talk for a minute about the reservation system and Magic Keys. We were in the park yesterday, the first day of the blockout period for Magic Keys. Everyone in the park that's in your frame right now, they all paid their way with either a single day or multi-day ticket. And the video of that complete day, that report will be up on our main channel on Friday. But allow me to summarize briefly what I found. People. Lots and lots of people. Some very long queues. In particular, some very long lightning lane queues. I've never seen a queue like that at Space Mountain. That's a standby killer. It was 105 minutes as we arrived, and I don't think that time got any better. It could only have gotten worse looking at this queue. And it was like that around the park in terms of lightning lane. The return times on this tip board were significantly higher. I haven't seen lightning lane return times like this in a very long time. I mentioned this to illustrate that even though we have Magic Keys blocked out, and even though we have a reservation system, one that the vast majority of Disney guests object to, and some with incredible amounts of passion, the park was packed. In other words, it doesn't look good, from my perspective, for the end of the reservation system. Meanwhile, though, Walt Disney World they're on the precipice, the verge of ending their reservation system. Recently, Disney announced that on January 11th, they're going to reveal their good-to-go calendar. The good-to-go dates are those dates where annual pass holders and Disney cast members are able to go to any park they want, any time of day they want, without a reservation. I cannot believe I'm saying these words out loud. There is going to be a percentage of days where no reservations are required at all at the Disneyland Resort. And I say at all because also in January, date-based tickets, that's what Disney refers to as the single day, the regular tickets. Those tickets will not require a reservation at all as of January 9th. That means on January 9th, you could just walk up to the park, buy a ticket, and go in. On January 9th, you could just go online and buy a ticket, and then that's yours. You pick a park, and that's it, and that's yours to use anytime you want, whenever you want. You don't need a reservation of any kind. You still need one up until the 9th. But after that, it's wide open. So that's amazing that they're able to do this. Well, I should say amazing compared to what we're going through here at Disneyland. It's a wonderful thing that's happening right now in Florida. And I feel like it's just a matter of time before they do away with the reservation system there entirely. I can't believe they didn't actually go all the way to begin with. For whatever reason, they're still sticking to those good-to-go dates as if it's some sort of, I don't know why they have to spoon-feed us like that, or Florida guests. But I'm not getting that feeling here. Here, things are different. And why that is, I believe, is related to the types of guests that go to each park on each coast. Walt Disney World is predominantly an event-type visit. The majority of guests are on vacation. They're visiting from out of town. Disneyland certainly has their share of those as well, of course. But we have a much larger population of locals and annual pass holders than they do at Walt Disney World. And these guests, the annual pass holders, they visit with a different type of plan. That is that there isn't one. The local guests, the annual pass holders here, just like to show up casually. Instead of going to the mall or to the beach or to the park, they go to Disneyland. So by comparison, it's easy to do away with the reservation system at Walt Disney World because there's already a sort of self-imposed reservation system. They don't just show up randomly like we do here. They show up on a schedule, whether or not the reservation system exists. They're still going to be on a schedule. And like Disneyland, where we have our share of out-of-town guests, Walt Disney World does have their share of annual pass holders, but it's not such a great number that it would affect park attendance. That, plus they have 4 parks to our 2, and guests are much more well distributed there. My gut says that Disney is going to keep the reservation system here at Disneyland for as long as they can, for as long as possible, so that they can better manage how annual pass holders visit the parks. But I am looking forward, though, to seeing how things develop, how this works out for Walt Disney World. Either way, I would very much like to see, after January 11th, what impact, if any, those new protocols have on park attendance. Which, by the way, my guess is no impact whatsoever. I don't think people are even going to notice at all. But I'm looking forward to seeing, and hopefully, maybe that could inspire Disney to have a change of heart about that reservation system here at Disneyland. I'm going to be optimistic on that, but I should say I'm going to qualify that because right now I don't have a good feeling. As I mentioned, just being in the park, what is going to inspire them? What is going to motivate them to change those policies if the park remains, being as full as they would like it to be? We'll see. January and February is going to be very interesting at both parks. And I would even say Disney, by the way, if you're listening right now, Disney, I feel like if you're listening, it would behoove you at least to drop the reservation system for single-day ticket holders, which by all accounts, it seems to be that's who you want in the park, our single-day and multi-day ticket holders. But I promise you that there is a percentage of guests who are choosing not to go to Disneyland simply because the reservation system exists. And I'm not talking about Magic Key holders. Lots of Magic Key holders have dropped their keys. They are not renewing. They have changed their plans. They're going to Universal and Knott's Berry Farm now. But I have a feeling you're okay with that. But there are definite guests who are single-day ticket holders who are choosing not to because it's just so annoying. The path is full of resistance. The path to get into the park is just full of resistance. But if they were to just remove one of those roadblocks, just a little bit of that friction, you would get more single-day ticket holders spending $200 a day to come to the park. It's a fact. Make the move, Disney. We're all just standing by and waiting. But again, like I said, I'm not hopeful. We'll see. Stay tuned for January. Follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney. That's fresh with no E. And on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. If you like our show and want to show you support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.